Hi guys, this is Brittany Powers and this is my Module 7 assignment. For this assignment, we are going to be focusing on one topic question. And that question is, why must we all become digital citizens? Now, before we can really consider this question, we have to know what digital citizenship actually is. So digital citizenship is the responsible use of technology by anyone who uses computers, the internet, and digital devices to engage with society on any level. So, do you know anyone who fits that description? Maybe a better question is, do you know anyone who does not fit that description? Because most of us engage in online activity daily, and most people that we know do as well. My next question for you is, what group of digital citizens in your life are you responsible for right now? If you're like me, you're probably thinking of your students. So with that, I will provide this quote, famous quote from Spider-Man, and that is, with great power comes great responsibility. We are teaching students who have the world at their fingertips. That's a big responsibility because we have to prepare them for that world. So our students are counting on us. Here are some skills that they need to be prepared to be good digital citizens. The first skill they need is empathy. It's going to be easy to say things that they don't mean when they're on a digital platform. There's not that pressure that you naturally feel when you're talking to someone face to face. They also need the skills of building relationships, personal and professional. They also need to know how to communicate appropriately depending on what kind of relationship they're engaging in and what platform they're speaking on. We need to teach our students to develop a positive identity and a positive digital footprint. So along with communicating and building those relationships, what you say online has somewhat of a permanent record, so we need to teach students to think carefully about what they say and teach them to say it well. We need to teach our students to understand user data and teach them to be digitally literate, like I was mentioning before. We also need to teach them how to respond appropriately to the digital divide. So what I mean by that is we need to teach our students that not everyone has the same access to digital resources. And if our students do have that access, they need to recognize it as a privilege and use that power and that ability to help others instead of advancing themselves ahead of others. We also need to teach our students how to practice digital wellness, so having a good balance of time online and offline, spending quality time in person with people and not only communicating on the internet. We need to teach them how to secure their digital devices and their personal information. We need to teach them how to identify, find, evaluate, and use information effectively. There's a lot of content out there, and we need to teach our students to understand what is accurate and reliable. And last, we need to teach our students to understand copyright and fair use laws. We also need to prepare them about some problems they may encounter. Some areas we need to prepare them in are how to identify inaccurate information, so determining whether a source is reliable or not. We also need to teach them to be contributors to society, so how to write well and speak well and have something to offer instead of just using others' information. We need to prepare them against cyberbullying. So that could be broken off into a couple conversations, but with cyberbullying, we need to really teach our students to be empathetic and to not be cyberbullies. We need to teach them how to report when they see cyberbullying happening, and if they are in a situation where cyberbullying is happening, we need to teach them to stand up for others. So that kind of goes to the next one. We need to prepare them for irresponsible social media usage. We need to train our students to be honest and kind and responsible when they're using social media. We need to teach them how to be safe and secure their private and personal information, to not share it with people who they don't have a relationship with, who they don't know, and not share their information with companies or sources that they're unfamiliar with. And we need to prepare them to understand how to present information in an honest way so that they don't get into trouble with digital cheating. Something else you should know about as a digital citizen is ERATE. So you might not know what that is, and if you don't, that's okay. ERATE's longer and more official name is the Schools and Libraries Program of the Universal Service Fund. It's a federal program, and it basically provides funding for schools and libraries that can be used to support student learning. All K through 12 public schools are eligible for ERATE. It's important to you because your school is likely receiving funds from ERATE. And if you're not, you might need those funds, and maybe you can be the one to apply for it. Recipients of ERATE are required to demonstrate compliance with something called the Children's Internet Protection Act, also known as CIPA. So if you are a recipient of ERATE funds, you have some responsibilities with that, which we'll talk about more in just a second. And you should know that the ERATE program performs audits to ensure that you are complying with their requirements. So you have to respect their what they ask of you. So the requirements of receiving ERATE funds are complying with CIPA rules. Those rules are that administrators must make sure that the school has taken precautions to monitor the online use of students and to filter and block inappropriate materials and content. And then they have to also communicate to people that they are monitoring that internet usage. Districts receiving funds must also educate minors about what's appropriate online behavior. That includes interacting with other individuals on social networking websites and in chat rooms, and cyberbullying awareness. So not only is it the right thing to do to prepare students in those ways, but if you receive ERATE funding, you are legally expected to do so as well. They do allow you to determine what is considered inappropriate for minors at the local level, so a lot of districts will give details to their staff members about that. And last, schools can be held responsible for student activity online even if the students are using their personal devices, if the student is connected to the school's internet. So we really have to be careful about what our students are doing online while at school. So kind of to recap why we must all become digital citizens, I thought Mike Ribby put it well. He identified 3 main topics of why it's so important, and I feel like he did a great job really summing up all of the areas that we need to consider. The first is respect. So having that good online etiquette, respecting others, making a good name for ourselves, recognizing our access to digital resources and using them to help build others up instead of getting ahead because of what we have, and abiding by all digital laws, so copyright laws, fair use laws, stuff like that. Another reason we should become digital citizens is educating. So becoming literate, learning more, communicating with others, and getting an education, getting jobs. Those are all tied to being a digital citizen. The two are almost inseparable now. And then the last subject is protection. So the importance of being a digital citizen is knowing your rights and responsibilities and respecting those of others, keeping your information safe and having access to information with convenience, and then of course understanding how to maintain your health and wellness. People, like I mentioned at the beginning of this presentation, they're going to be using the internet, they're going to be engaging with social media and using technology often. If we don't have understanding in all of these areas, then our health and our relationships will suffer. So it's really important to be a good and responsible, safe digital citizen. And we have to also prepare our students to do the same. So next, I'll very briefly touch on the Blue Valley School District policies that are related to digital citizenship. I'm not so sure that we receive ERATE funding, though. I couldn't find anything on our website about that or in our district policies. So this one is about student data restrictions and student privacy. I will spare you and not read all of this, but basically this policy says we're going to keep student data safe, we're going to abide by FERPA and not disclose any personal information that we have on our students unless it's with an approved education source or to their legal guardians. Next, it says that we do respect copyright laws and we're going to abide by those. So we're not going to go outside of our allowances with copyright laws and fair use. We're going to abide by those. And the next one is the use of communication technologies by employees. So any employee that's using district technology, we have to be really careful about the content we're accessing and always use it in an appropriate manner that reflects the values of our district. And if you don't, you will be reprimanded. Here are my resources. So these are all of the references to the sources I used to gather and share information in this presentation. And this assignment correlated to the standard because I now how to understand better how to prepare students to be digital citizens, and I know that that is super important to their future well-being. This assignment was relevant because I work daily with students and they have access to iPads for most of the day, and when they go home they're spending time online as well. So this module helped me to enable them to be safe, respectful, and how to act responsibly with technology. For my reflection, I believe that this assignment will help me to be a better leader in the future because I now understand ERATE and its implications for schools who receive government funding under this program. I now have an understanding of what areas teachers are responsible to train their students in. I feel that by helping other educators understand the specific areas in which students need training, they'll be able to integrate these ideas and better prepare students for their futures throughout the full school year. This module also helped me to recognize that digital citizenship cannot be developed in one day. That is why I will encourage others to integrate this training into their daily conversations with students and include feedback on digital citizenship and digital assignments throughout the year. I'm sorry I was talking so fast. I'm about to run out of time on my free version of Screencast-O-Matic. But I thank you so much for watching this presentation, and I am excited to watch some of my peers' presentations. Thank you.